Didn't think you could transform boring melamine? Well, think again, because in these videos I'm going to show you how I transformed this boring white boxy TV bookcase that doesn't go with my decor into this deliciously dark storage unit that blends perfectly with the colour of my living room, and it even livens it up. Now, you'd think that you can't paint melamine because it's got a kind of plasticky coating that the paint doesn't stick to, but I'll show you exactly what I did. If you're interested in finding out what the materials I used and the process, then I would say watch this video and the one that follows. If you just want to see how I styled the bookcase, then jump to number 3. So first things first, we've got to look after ourselves and be safe. So you're going to need a mask. This is FFP3 rated, which tells you how many dust particles it takes out of the air. So you've got to protect yourself. You don't want all that dust down in your lungs. Also, look after your eyes and get a really snazzy pair of Joe 90 goggles to protect your eyes from any flying bits of dust and also bits of debris. And I tell you what, because I do a lot of DIY at home, I tell you what, I've been up a few ladders and I have been wearing my slippers and I've nearly had accidents. So it's so important to wear sensible shoes. So just any old trainers or a pair of flat boots, not your 5-inch stilettos, something safe that you can wear. And of course, gloves are optional, and as are overalls. You can just wear some old clothes, but really do make sure that you wear some sensible footwear. And right, so the other things you're going to need is a sander. Now this is my little electric sander. It's very, very well worn. If you don't have an electric sander, then you can easily use some sandpaper, which you can wrap around those wooden blocks. I don't have one here, but you can just wrap it around the wooden block, and that makes it easier to grip when you're sanding. And now, because you're the idea is that you're scoring the surface, you're scratching the melamine for the next step, then I just used 120 grit. I didn't use anything any more coarse, because like I said, all you're doing is you're just scratching the surface to prepare it for the secret weapon, if you like. You're going to need a bowl and a rag to wash down your TV bookcase, and I would wash that down after you have sanded it, because if you do it before, then you've got 2 jobs. So once you've sanded it, just with hot soapy water, wash off all that dust and prepare it for the secret weapon, which is your primer. So I use this primer. It's called Classider Extreme Universal Primer. Okay, all round the other way. It's from a company in the UK, here in the UK, called Romantix, which I've put the name on the screen for you. They're super, super helpful at Romantix. They've got over 30 years experience of providing surface coatings, and they're really helpful. I called them up because I've used this to paint my kitchen cupboard shelves. I repainted them and they had a horrible vinyl coating on, and I did exactly the same steps. I use it on furniture. I've used it on my living room door. So it's really useful, massively easy to use, and I've had this pot for, I'm going to say, quite a while. I've had it for quite a while, and there's still quite a lot in it, so it goes a long way. So that's your primer, which is the secret weapon, because what the primer does is it gives the paint something to stick to. It coats the melamine and then it gives the paint something to stick to. If you just paint straight on, the paint, you can scrape it off with your fingernail. To apply your primer, you're going to need a brush and a roller, and I only ever use 1 coat of primer. And then once you've done the primer, then you're going to need an undercoat. So I've used this undercoat, which is pretty cheap. I just had it lying around the house. It's a light grey, and again you're going to use a brush and a roller. The roller's bust up. The brush is for the corners, and the roller just means it goes on a lot faster. And then once you have applied your undercoat, now remember I'm going from white to dark, so I put an undercoat on. One coat I used of undercoat, and then my top coat I've used this Valspar paint, which is available from B&Q, and the colour is called Sooty Lashes. And again, you're going to apply with a roller and a brush. So what is next? Oh, so I did my edges. I edged the bookcase with this gold furniture paint. That one was terrible. I had to go out and buy another one. It's by Rust-Oleum, Universal Metallic Paint. Now, to put the metallic paint on, use a roller. If you use a brush, you get horrible brush streaks. And the most exciting part was applying this exuberantly amazing, busy, colourful, bright wallpaper that's got pink flowers, yellow flowers, white flowers, blue flowers, but the base is dark, so the base goes perfectly with the walls. And the texture of the paper, it's quite vinyl-y. It's got a vinyl texture. It was super easy to work with. It didn't tear, but I think that might be because I was working with quite small sections. I wasn't papering whole walls. I was cutting it into smaller pieces, and I just found it really easy to work with. Now, this paper is paste to the wall, so when you get to using the wallpaper paste, I'll show you in 1 second, because the equipment that you're going to need for putting the wallpaper on is a brush to get rid of all the air bubbles and smooth it down, a palette knife just for scoring the edges, that roller for when you put two edges together and you want to make them nice and flat, and your craft knife for cutting off any excess paper. And then, like I said before, what I was just saying is the wallpaper paste. Now, this paper is paste to the wall, which means you don't need a trestle table. There's your wallpaper brush, so you don't need the trestle table. And the other thing I'd say is, if you're going to buy wallpaper, make sure you buy all of the same batches if you're going to buy more than one roll of wallpaper. To finish off the wallpaper, once you've put it on, you're going to use a varnish. I chose matte varnish. I didn't want it to be shiny. So this is a product I got off Amazon called Creative. It's matte varnish. You can get gloss. Masking tape to mask off any areas that you don't want to get paint on, like I had to mask all around the floor. And then finally, does exactly what it says on the tin, a little bit of Ronseal, and the Ronseal is for the paint. So in the next video, I'm going to show you the process how to transform your boring melamine bookcase. See you in the next video.